Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and you're having a good time. This is going to be my first video. This is a part of a long series that I'm planning to create. So, if you have any feedback, unfortunately, I have disabled the comments, but if you have any feedback, you're most welcome to send me a mail. Okay. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Renaissance and Enlightenment as it took part in Europe, in many parts of Europe, not most of Europe, so that the same could be replicated back here in India, not just in India, but other developing countries as well. Because I feel that India could be a coach and could be some kind of a leader and could help other developing countries improve. We should not be selfish, just like the British Raj or where the colonial masters were. We have to be a little more magnanimous and open-hearted, and we have to help other people also. What does Renaissance exactly mean? The Renaissance refers to a period in European history that lasted from the 15th to the 16th centuries for around 200 years or so. The term Renaissance is derived from the French word. It literally means rebirth. Okay, the word Renaissance marks the transition from Middle Ages to modernity. It's on the threshold of the modern era. This was followed by the Enlightenment, of course, and this was preceded by the Dark Ages and by the Middle Ages. Okay, and what happened is the objective of, I mean, the hallmark of the Renaissance was a fervent and feverish, strong desire to surpass the achievements of hoary antiquity of ancient Greece, because ancient Greece was supposed to be a superpower. It was known as being a superpower in science. Okay, Greek science began in around 600 BC or so with tales of Miletus, and it continued in the well into the Christian era up to the time of Ptolemy. And we had large number of Greek thinkers like Anaximander, Plato, Aristotle, Herodotus, Socrates, Aristarchus of Samos, Philelius, etc. People like Philelius and Aristarchus of Samos even went to the extent of arguing some 2,300 years ago or so that the Earth was not the center of the universe, but the Sun was the center of the solar system, and the Earth went around this Sun. Okay, so now that we have recapitulated we'll come back to the Renaissance period. We have recapitulated the Renaissance period. What do you mean by enlightenment? The Enlightenment was another very important intellectual and philosophical movement. This movement occurred in, again, in Europe, in many different parts of Europe. This age is known as the age of reason. It is also known as the age of rationality. It's also known as the age of science and the age of uh, logical and rational thinking. Okay, so the old way gave way to the new here, and people began to look at things more scientifically and analytically. This, of course, was the threshold of the start of the modern era, because in the 1 or 2 centuries that preceded after that succeeded it, we not only had the industrial revolution, we had science take off in a big way. It is not just applied sciences, theoretical sciences. We had Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, etc., in the 1800s. Okay, so as you are aware, the Renaissance and the Enlightenment followed the Dark Ages. Okay, the Dark Ages usually refers to a period from around the 5th centuries to the 10th century AD, but sometimes it is extrapolated to include a period till the 15th century AD. Okay, and the causes for the Dark Ages were the sack of Rome. Rome was, of course, a flourishing empire. It followed the Greek civilization. The ancient Greeks were known for their progress and prowess, their strength in science. But the Roman Empire, unfortunately and rather strangely enough, had a slightly different emphasis. Their emphasis was on military might and military power. But the sack of Rome took place from barbarians. It was attacked by Vandals and barbarians, thugs, okay, from the north. These people were civilized, uncivilized, and illiterate mostly. These people were examples of these people included Vandals, Alani, Suebi, Burgundians, and the sack of Rome took place in the year 410 AD by the Visigoths. This was led by their king Alaric. Okay, and if you see the Renaissance period, what were the causes for the Renaissance? What happened is many Greek and Roman intellectuals, following the sack of Constantinople in the fall of Constantinople, they fled to Italy, and there was a reinterest, there was a rekindling of curiosity in science. So people were interested in science once again, once more. And another reason was the Catholic Church, which was dogmatic. For example, they killed Bruno. You're aware that they killed Bruno, Giordano Bruno. Giordano Bruno was a person who said the Earth was not at the center of the universe. The sun was, and he also went to the extent of saying, long before other people realized this, that there could be countless other solar systems in the Milky Way galaxy and outside it also. Okay, the church slowly began. Church was very poor and wicked at that time, and it slowly began to reform and change with the times. And there was a renaissance in arts and literature, also painting, etc. And the Italians moved eastward. They had visited kings like Kublai Khan in the east, etc. So they gathered riches, and overall, Italy was only one part of the Renaissance. Renaissance took place in many parts of the world. We had many great, famous Renaissance thinkers also. Okay, it's not possible for me here to give a list of all the Renaissance thinkers. For example, we had a person called Thomas Aquinas. He developed his own version of theology. He was not atheistic exactly, but his work was known as Summa Theologica. William of Ockham was another important person. He developed what we today call as the what we refer to as the Occam's razor. This razor says that the number of the efficacy of a theory of or a paradigm is inversely proportional to the number of assumptions it has. And we had another person called René Descartes. He was a French philosopher. He was also a French mathematician. He made many important contributions to scientific method and all. And we had a person called Francis Bacon. He also made many important contributions to scientific method. Of course, Giordano Bruno I have spoken about. And we had famous French thinkers as well, like Michel de Montaigne. Okay, he was known for his humanism. He was also known for his general literature. Okay, his contributions to literature were immense. And when we come to the Enlightenment period, which spanned the 17th and 18th centuries, new ideas on science, reason, rationality, empiricism, and humanism were also beginning to be developed. They became widespread, and a lot of new universities were developed. Therefore, learning spread rapidly along with the printing press. Okay, this period also overlaps with what we call the scientific revolution. There was a complete overhaul, metamorphosis in science, and there were people such as Galileo, Newton, Copernicus. They made stellar contributions to the field of science. They were earth-shattering, groundbreaking, as well as transformational. Okay, they were paradigm shifts. They led to paradigm shifts in science. Okay, the Enlightenment period usually is said to have ended during the time of the French Revolution when the modern era started. But of course, boundaries in history are traditionally canonically hazy. Okay, they're not it's not easy to pinpoint them with any level or degree of precision. Some people also say that it ended with the time of Immanuel Kant. Okay, and other famous enlightened thinkers were Tycho Brahe. He was a Danish astronomer. He studied the stars, etc., before the telescope was invented. Johannes Kepler contributed to the laws of planetary motion, which hold good even to this day. Nicholas Copernicus was a polymath, and he supported the heliocentric model. Galilei built upon the work of Lippershey, who invented the telescope and studied the heavens. He also proposed the heliocentric model, and he was accused of blasphemy and heresy, and he was put under house imprisonment. Isaac Newton, as you know, the story that the apple fell on his head, which may not or may not be entirely true, but he discovered what is today known as gravity, and he published an important work called Principia Mathematica in 1687. He's also known for his work on calculus. We had then Baruch Spinoza. He contributed greatly to the philosophy of science. So also did Immanuel Kant. Okay, and this period was followed by the Industrial Revolution. First Industrial Revolution started around 1750 AD. Steam locomotive, textile mills, looms, etc. were developed on a large scale. There was also large scale industrialization during this period. And second revolution, as you know it, happened around almost a century or so later, when new inventions like the automobile, electricity, telephone, radio, and the aeroplane transformed the world completely and unrecognizably. Okay, and around the 40s and the 50s, after the Second World War, the British were famished, so were other colonial powers, and the aftermath of the Second World War, and they were not in a position to hold on to their colonies any longer. So there was a rapid spread of decolonization taking place. India, of course, led the way in many ways. Mahatma Gandhi, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, and many other people fought for freedom valiantly, heroically, and other African nation countries followed suit as well. unfortunately, it was not also all, not all hunky dory and rosy after the end of colonization. For example, we had socialism, we had dictatorships, and our economic models were flawed. Instead of developing, adhering to bottom up and trickle up economic models and by balanced development models, we adhere to socialism. And universal education was not emphasized. Outdated pedagogical methods were the norm. Technology was not widely used in education. For example, I had personally in 2018, 2019 interviewed a large number of people from different parts of India. Unfortunately, I could not interview people from outside India, but the results of the interviews were the same. They were quite shocking to say the least. Many people, even from Rajasthan, Gujarat, West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, etc., thought the earth was between 5,000 to 2,000 years old, depending on their religion. They were adhering only to the driven religious inspired values. There was no knowledge of your universal human values or universal human ethics. Okay, the actual age of the earth is around 4,500 million years ago. There is the quality of education imparted is very poor. I agreed that the literacy rate has shot up since the start of the Sarvasiksha Abhiyan and other movements, but the quality of education imparted is rather poor at this stage. There is rote learning, which is not necessary in the time of the internet, etc. And there is no practical application of knowledge. People have no idea of scientific method. They cannot distinguish between science and pseudoscience method. Ideologies are still common. Okay, for example, if your person is from North India, South India, East India, West India, his thinking patterns are different and are to some extent what Levi Brule called pre-scientific. This is still true, and religion still plays an important role in the lives of people. Rather, fortunately enough, we have gotten over the caste system, untouchability, etc. But religion still plays a oversized role in human values, and this needs to change with the time. People, even after doing their PhDs, they believe in Pushpak Vimanas, flying saucers, they doubt evolution, they believe in Ganesha statue, drinking milk. Godmen still rule the roost. There is ideologically different different scholarship. We need 21st century intellectualism in a big way. Even other developing nations are faring rather poorly in science. We have caught up. We are now number three or number four as far as number of research papers are concerned. But as far as citations are concerned and quality of journal publications are concerned, we're still way behind. Of course, China is giving the USA a good run for money. This also shows that we must collaborate with more friendly countries in science and up our ante. We must put our best foot forward and do much better than we are doing currently or presently. Okay, so the pillars of our mission, first thing is we want to revitalize. I have written around 60 papers or so. You are welcome to go through them and comment on them and send me a mail. We want to revitalize all fields of social sciences, right from economics to historiography, pedagogy, sociology, anthropology. And I have done extensively of that because I have completed masters in anthropology with a first class from one of the best universities in India. It has given me a strong grounding, strong bearing, strong footing from which to proceed. I want to help create over the next few years. I want to help create intellectual revolutions in various parts of the learning world, just as they happen in Europe, etc. And we want to the pedagogical theory is rather outdated and Eurocentric. Okay, most of the social sciences, unlike the other fields of sciences, are Eurocentric because social sciences vary. The concepts may vary from region to region, but they were not developed bearing in mind the requirements or exigencies of people living in countries other than Europe or North America. Okay, so they are very narrow. They look at things from very narrow prism. That's a very big problem. And I want to look at the role that religion plays in the 21st century. Also, that's one of my. See, I have written extensively about religion. Also, you are welcome to read my papers. And another part of my mission is developing bottom up economic development models for for developing countries. This is something like Keynesian economics, where government plays a large role in investing in human resources, etc. And bottom up models, agriculture, permaculture, irrigation, water harvesting, water management, renewable energy, etc. focus rather than just having a laissez-faire system where you leave everything to the market. That won't work for developing countries. Of course, this kind of balanced approach is completely different from socialism. Okay, the two are completely different. I've written about it in my earlier book also. You're welcome to read it for your own pleasure. So, with this, I would like to conclude this short podcast. If you have any doubts or clarifications or suggestions, you're more than welcome to mail me. Thank you.